day. My name is Dele, and I'm your export doctor. Thank you for stopping by on the Global Trade Tutor YouTube channel today. In this video, we'll be talking about export hack for copper ore. And in this particular sub-series within the export hack, I'll be focusing a lot on minerals. I've spoken about gold already. I've spoken about copper. I'll talk about lead. I'll talk about zinc. I'll talk about zircon. Talk about precious stones and different minerals, or solid minerals that can be obtained in Nigeria. Now, if you are interested in this, remember the video you're seeing is just a snippet of the main program, the export hack we have for over 85 products, and you might do well to get that for yourself if this video looks like something that will be of benefit to you. Copper is a chemical element with symbol Cu, of course, for those of us that are science students, and atomic number 29. Pure copper is rather soft and malleable, and a freshly exposed surface has a pinkish or peachy color and is used as a thermal conductor, an electrical conductor, a building material, and a constituent in various metal alloys. Copper have multiple uses. It can be found in native copper as native copper in minerals, and it is a polycrystal with largest single crystal measuring between 4.4 by 3.2 by 3.2. As sulfide, it occurs as chalcopyrite, that's called that's as sulfide, chalcopyrite, as bonite, as cobaltite, as oxide, chalcocite, sorry, as chalcocite, and also as azurite, sorry, as carbonate. As carbonate, it occurs as azurite and as malachite, and cuprite. That's as carbonate. Now, the issue here is that it occurs in different ways. Even as oxide, the cuprite is actually oxide. So it occurs as sulfide, it occurs as malachite, and it occurs as it occurs as sulfide, it occurs as carbonate, and also occurs as oxide. So, I mean, it's a solid minerals, it has a natural way, it occurs under the ground before it can be extracted, and that's exactly what I've said. Now, specification, most buyers look for specification between 10 and 25% purity. Some will buy below. I mean, like I've said, the peculiarity of mineral is that even when the purity is low, some buyer will still buy, only that they will buy at a discounted price. If you're exporting copper, the stone or the rock should be about 10 to 50 mm, even though I would recommend if you can find a way to crush it. But when you are crushing copper, because of the dust that can make the copper get lost in the course of crushing, you need to crush in a way that is covered. You know, when you are crushing something and dust cannot come out, that way you can keep it within. Unlike lead, dust will go out, but the lead will not fly. The lead will remain as some other metal. But this is not a heavy metal, so it will be better for you to ensure that you crush in a way that you don't allow dust to come out, because if the dust comes out, that's copper leaving. And I've had that experience before. That after crushing, the quality drops. And the crushing for me is important because that ensures it's homogeneous in order to ensure the quality of what you are exporting makes sense. What are the uses of copper? Copper has many uses. It has industrial uses. It's used in electrical materials. It's used in everyday life. Like copper uses include frying pan, in knife, in fork, in spoon. It's used in bathtub, in sink, in water heater, in everyday life. Copper use is multifaceted. The importance of copper in transportation industry include building of trams, lorries, cars, building of tram, lorry, cars, train, high purity copper wire harness systems is used to carry the current from battery throughout the vehicle. So it has multiple uses. I mean, you can imagine the several uses of a typical of copper in general. What are the potential? Where can you find it in Nigeria? You can find it in Nasarawa State, You can find it in Bauchi State, you can find it in Niger State, and you can find it in Zamfara State. You can find it in Zamfara State. What's the demand now? Among all minerals, copper, apart from gold, which is a different league, because of course, copper as a non-ferrous metal, $91.1 billion. That's the kind of demand that copper have. Over $90 billion. What's now interesting is that who are the major buyer? One country took up almost 60%, China. The next to that is about 14%, and that's Japan, South Korea. So you now begin to ask yourself, why is China consuming so much copper? China is the industrial hub of the world, and they're the largest buyer of copper in the world. Largest buyer of copper in the world. Let's talk about packaging. Now, packaging copper ore for export is a critical aspect in ensuring safe and efficient transport. Copper ore is a valuable commodity, and the proper packaging helps to protect the product and comply with transportation regulation. Product protection. Protect copper ore from damage and contamination and spoilage during transport using leak-proof container or bulk bag that can withstand the weight and the characteristics of copper. Ensure the packing comply with international transport regulation. You need to familiarize yourself with regulations specific for the mode of transport you are using, for example, by sea. Containerization. Facilitate efficient loading and unloading of copper ore for containerized shipment. Use standardized container for ease of handling. Ensure that the containers are properly sealed, labeled according to international shipping standard. Moisture for many minerals, not just minerals, even commodity. Moisture is a big issue. When they say a particular sample contains 5%, moisture is part of what makes it 5%. If the moisture is low, the purity level will be higher because moisture already adds to the weight. So even if the purity of the ore is high, high, but when moisture is high and they're looking at percentage because of the weight of the water in the product, it affects the purity. So you want to ensure that you reduce the moisture to the barest minimum. It should be very dry. Probably 1, 2, 3% moisture. It should be very, very dry. We shouldn't be able to see the moisture inside the product. How about packaging? Paperwork, documentation. Of course, commercial invoice as usual, packing list as usual, bill of lading as usual. Some countries will still ask you for phytosanitary certificate, but rarely require for mineral, really. There's a certificate of origin if the country has given concession to your country in terms of duty required or payment of duty. Let me round up with the pitfall. What should you avoid if you are trying to export this item? What should you avoid? What are the things you need to be very conscious of and the things you need to avoid if you are trying to export this particular item called copper? Number one thing you should be conscious of is the level of impurities and contaminants. This is general for many solid minerals. Copper ore may contain impurity and contaminants that affect the quality. Implement rigorous ore processing and refining procedure to reduce impurities, meaning you need to minimize it. It will be there. What you don't want to do is the one you can remove, you remove, because it's already occurring among other rock, right? So you want to remove the impurities and contaminant as much as possible. You want to remove the impurities and contaminant as possible. Now, another thing I mentioned earlier, if you remember, is moisture. Moisture is a big deal. It's extremely important for you to understand that you don't want to joke with the issue of moisture. Why? Because, like I said, moisture affects quality. And if the quality of your product is affected, what else do you want to do? Because now the quality is bad. And the quality is bad not because the good is bad, but because you have not ensured that you reduce the moisture content as much as possible. How then do you reduce the moisture content? Simply dry. It affects the weight, it affects the consideration for quality. Particle size. Inconsistent particle size all can affect processing efficiency and product quality, which is why I say you should crush. But when you are crushing, you need to be careful to ensure dust does not leave, because if dust leave, it is copper that is leaving. Thank you very much for stopping by on Global Trade Tutor today. I believe what we've discussed has been of immense benefit to you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have questions, drop in the comment section. If you want to know when I upload a new video, subscribe and click on the notification bell. My name is Dila Yimi, but I'm a sport doctor, and I'm signing out. Thank you very much.